Hello and welcome to the second video of my diet, how to lose the beer belly while still drinking homebrew. And, well, let's just take a look at my results so far. You can see these two columns, one says scale weight and one says true weight. But in both cases, especially in the true weight, the weight just keeps going down. And the trueness is kind of what I want to get at in this video. I'll start by telling a joke. The name of the video is The Spherical Chicken. This is a physics joke. And first-year physics students get told this joke and they laugh. Not really so much because it's funny, but because they kind of feel like they're in a private club. It's something that maybe they would not have understood before taking the physics course, and then now they do. So they kind of feel like they're superior in a way. And the joke goes like this. You ask a psychologist and a biologist and a physicist, why did the chicken cross the road? And the psychologist, she says, oh, well, the chicken was a hen, and it saw this big, beautiful rooster across the road, and so it fell in love, and it ran across the road to be with the rooster and get some cock-a-doodle-doo. Okay, that's perfectly valid answer from a psychologist. So then you ask the biologist, why did the chicken cross the road? And the biologist says, well, chickens need to eat, and they need to drink. It probably saw some food over there and some water over there. Went over there to catch some worms. Okay, so that's a good biological reason why the chicken would cross the road. Then you ask the physicist, why did the chicken cross the road? The physicist paces back and forth, scratches his chin, and then finally answers, well, consider a spherical chicken. Now, the point of this is, whenever you're in physics especially, but any science, when you're trying to figure something out, you start with the most simple case. And there is no shape that's easier to work with than a sphere. So let's say you're going to measure wind resistance, or you're going to try to come up with what a formula should be for wind resistance. You're going to first figure it out for a sphere, like a perfect sphere. Like maybe you're trying to figure out what happens with a golf ball. You're going to start with a perfect sphere, then you're going to add complexity later, like all the dimples on the golf ball. It's that sort of idea. Now the idea is, the simple case might be good enough for whatever it is you're trying to do. In my case, I'm talking about how to lose weight and have it work every single time. If you want to know the value of your house, you're going to sell the house. Maybe you'll have, or you're going to buy a house. Maybe you'll get an appraisal done on it, in which case you want a lot of work put into that appraisal. On the other hand, there's also a phrase called good enough for the government. And the government, for example, they have a property assessor. Where I live, I don't know if they still do this, but they used to just sort of have a vague idea of what houses were worth, and then they would drive around the neighborhood and kind of look from the outside and just sort of see what condition it's in and what size the house is and that sort of thing, and then they would go from there. And that's good enough for the government. And the idea of true, it kind of comes from straight lines. So like lumber. If you go to a Home Depot, you'll see people buying lumber, and they'll hold the lumber up, and they'll look straight down like a 2x4, and they'll try to see just how straight it is, just how true it is another way to put it. And this is the general notion of truth, is that you're never going to hit a straight line perfectly, but depending on context, you need your statements and you need your scientific models to be more true in some cases than others. Now, in the previous video, I said that energy in is exactly equal to energy stored plus energy out, and that is true. I kind of shied away from saying that calories in is equal to calories stored plus calories burned, and I said the problem is with that word burned. You need a little asterisk after it, and that's because it's not true enough to just state without at least a little bit of commentary. So my commentary on that has to do with what your body is composed of. Your body is composed of lean and fat. Most people would just immediately answer that if you said, well, what's it composed of in the simplest terms? Well, I want to suggest a third category. Now, this third category is also broken up into lean and fat, but it needs to be separate, and you'll see why in a minute. And this third category is, well, women would call it water weight, and if you're a woman, you probably have a few days of the month that you've experienced where your fingers swell and maybe you feel bloated, that sort of thing. And so this is why I say women would call it water weight, because they're a little more familiar with it than men. But it's really water and food weight. And so we have these three categories: lean, fat, and food. Water and food. Now, I know a couple of women who they would go on diets. They're these women who they like to be good looking, and they go to like dance clubs and things like that. And every once in a while they decide they want to go on a diet. And you'll see a status go up on Facebook, "Woohoo, I lost 6 pounds in my first week." Well, 6 pounds of what? Right? That's 21,000 calories. That would mean they lost, is that right, 21,000? Something like that. But it's like burning 3,000 calories a day. I mean, it's almost like losing it's close to 1,000 or close to a pound a day, 6 pounds a week, right? That's a lot of calories, and they're not even burning that many calories. There's no way they lost that much body fat. And they didn't lose muscle either. What they lost was the food weight. And that's not anything. As soon as they go back to eating normal again, the food weight will, meaning the food that they're carrying around in their system, is just going to go right back up to what it was before. And this is important because a lot of people, they say, when you first go on a diet, you're okay and your metabolism's fine and you're losing weight quickly, and then suddenly, bam, your body adjusts and it goes into starvation. I'm sure you've heard this term before, starvation mode. And in starvation mode, you're not losing the calories anymore. The first couple of weeks, fine, but after that, you're in starvation mode. Doesn't happen. It just seems like you lost a lot of weight, meaning body fat, that's what you're hoping for, right? Body fat loss. It seems like it because you've decreased the amount of food that you're carrying around with you. Now, one more thing. Anybody who's been stuck to a calorie restrictive diet for, say, 5 or 6 weeks has experienced this kind of crude thing that I'm going to go into here in a second. I've had the experience of waking up in the morning, kind of waking up slowly, and suddenly passing gas, which you might think that's not so unusual. Passing gas, everybody passes gas, right? Everybody farts. Except that I've had it suddenly almost startle me when it's happened, simply because it hasn't happened for so long. I lay there and I suddenly realize it's not just been days since the last time I passed any gas. It may have been a couple of weeks. And the reason why this happens is because when you eat food, the idea is that your digestive system is going to carry it through your system. It's going to extract all the nutrients, including all the energy, right? All the energy you can get out of it. And then it and other waste products are going to be eliminated. You're going to defecate, right? That sort of thing. But what also happens is when you eat too much food, and it's really easy to do this, you eat too much food, the new food pushes the old food through your system faster than your system can digest it. We've all heard and maybe especially if you have kids, you've probably all heard of, or if you watch South Park and Beavis and Butthead, that sort of thing, you've all heard of finding corn in the toilet after taking a dump, right? So this is an extreme case of when food is not digested and makes it out the other side. Well, that happens all the time for almost all of us in terms of food not being completely digested by the time it's out. And this means that when food makes it into the colon, if it's been pushed through faster than it should have been, it can ferment, so to speak, and release gases. And the next thing you know, you're passing gas. Well, if you get on a calorie-restrictive diet where you're not using new food so much to push old food out, it tends to get properly digested all the way down. And then it's really just the super, super hard to digest carbohydrates that get left behind that no matter how slowly you push the stuff through, it's going to produce some gas. And there really is not as many of those as most people think. And if you're ever around really, really fat people, you may find, especially men, because they can be kind of gross, they'll talk about how often they fart. So, you know, this can be kind of a warning to you. If you find that you're passing a lot of gas, that may indicate that you are eating surplus calories and you're probably gaining weight. Might be an indicator of how to know when you are losing weight too, as you can reduce your calories to when you just don't seem to be passing gas much at all. It's not a very true indicator, but it is an indicator. Okay, so in this video I just wanted to go over why I think there should be an asterisk next to burn in that calorie burning and eating equation, just to make it a little more true, and also to explain why, at least two of the reasons why people may feel that their metabolism has slowed down after a few weeks on a diet. First, during the first week you're reducing the amount of food that you're carrying around, so it's not like you were really burning calories, you're just carrying less food around. But it sure seemed like you were losing weight fast at the beginning, and it was. You were losing actual weight, it just wasn't body fat. And the next thing is, if you're eating so much food that you're pushing food through your digestive system too fast before it gets properly digested and all the energy can be put into use by the body, that means that your metabolism, or your apparent metabolism, is not only the calories that you're burning, but also the calories that are being pushed through your body undigested. And so that is a larger apparent metabolism. But once you go on a calorie-restricted diet, and you find that you are getting all of the energy out of your food that you can, now it seems like your metabolism has slowed down. So, that's that. And next time, I will go over sort of a simple formula that can be used to calculate what your metabolism is every day, so that you can choose how many calories you need to eat in order to reach your weight goal in the time that you want to reach it. And if you'd like to see the first video of my Losing the Beer Belly series now, you can click right up there. If you'd like to see a proper homebrew video, there's one right there. And if you would like to subscribe, you can click down there.